side of the home. Closest is the main bedroom and ensuite windows, which is shaded by deciduous trees once they start growing. The pergola is next to the living room. We decided on a pergola to have something sturdy and provide weather protection. This is another view of the north side of the home. Rainwater tank is tucked into the west side wall. Rainwater gets pumped into the washing machine and the 2 toilets. And there's the PV system on the roof and the heat pump hot water system. And the higher level was kept to keep 2 trees. This is the pergola. The louvers are operated by remote, so you can easily maximise the light depending on the angle of the sun. It has rain sensors, and this is our heat pump set to operate between 10 and 4, so it uses only solar power, and the water stays super hot through to the next day. This is a view of the south side of the house. We've got a decent setback because we cut into the side and wanted to ensure we still got the prevailing breeze. The closest windows are the kids' bedrooms, and then facing west is a double hung window, which is, you'll see later. So we're back at the front door coming into the home. Doors are 870 wide. This is a level entry from the garage and from the porch into the home. The front door has a security screen, so it can be open all the time for the airflow. Both doors have a good seal at the bottom to stop the drafts and smells. This is a side shot of the insulated garage panel lift door. Door faces west, so being a thicker door, it helps regulate the temperature within the garage. The garage also has 3 windows, so it partly functions as a games room. So we wanted it looking good and being a comfortable space, so temperature-wise, which is exactly what we get. Here's the entry, separated from the main living area by this glass door. We have 2 of these glass doors, one at each end of the main living area, so they're really functional. The doors block the noise, regulate the temperature and the breezes within the home, while still providing connection to the different zones. The study is to the left when you enter the home from the garage. The window faces south, and another window in the entry allows the cross ventilation. It's large enough for a 4th bedroom, and it has a sliding door robe. It's a comfortable space in summer with the cross ventilation and ceiling fan. So to the right of the entry is the main bedroom. Lots of things here. The shutters face east to the street. They're reducing the light in the room, and you can regulate the breeze. There's a large north-facing window, and grey tiles absorb the heat. The built-in pelmet and block-out curtains retain the heat and keep the cold out in summer, cold out in winter, and keep the heat out in the hot summer days. So this is the ensuite. So north-facing window, so the shower dries up quickly in winter. Hobbler shower, circulation space in front of the toilet, shower taps on the side, so before we can get under the water. Now we've entered the main living area, looking back on the front, on the door to the entry. This is the IT charging zone and bag drop area, which is a great space to keep the bits and pieces away from being lost on the kitchen bench or the dining table. And notes the space around the fridge for the egg circulation. Just behind the photo is a double hung window, so you can see when the glass door and the front door is open, there's a great breeze path through the main living area. And this space has also got 2 ceiling fans, LED lights, good circulation space in the kitchen, and the high bench tops because we're pretty tall. To the left is our south-facing kitchen and dining sliding windows, and to the right is the larger north-facing sliding windows and sliding door for the cross ventilation. That's another view of the double hung window, and you can see the other glass doors separating the main living area from the activity room. So here in the living area, we've got the built-in pelmet and block-out curtains again. Curtains are closed on the really hot days and summer, and also on the cold winter nights to keep the heat in. There's 2 internal double brick walls providing mass to hold the heat of the day in winter and radiate back at night. So through the glass door is the activity room with a built-in cupboard behind the photo. Again, this room has features of the large north-facing window, built-in pelmet curtains, ceiling fan. Not having the traditional corridor gives this space a light, open feel, and also the benefit of cross ventilation for the 2 bedrooms on the left side. Here's one of the 2 south-facing bedrooms. You can see 2 smaller windows instead of 1, which allows you to capture different breezes across the bed at night. Ceiling fan keeps the air moving on a warm, still night, and to the left is a nice built-in cupboard. So this is the other bedroom, same size, orientation, windows covered. We put cupboards in the bedroom for some luxury, and tiles weren't necessary on the south side. Window coverings are blinds, but curtains would probably better keep the heat in and heat out in summer, especially sometimes because it reflects off the side fence into the bedrooms. Here's the main bedroom with many similar features as the ensuite, with the addition of a bath. So you've got the hobbler shower, lots of circulation space, the tap out of the way, adjustable shower head. And we really love having that sliding window open as we have a great view through to the neighbour's tree. Lastly, here's our laundry with the north-facing window and screen door for ventilation. Left side is a broom cupboard, and the right side is underbench storage for a washing machine and dryer, and lots of overhead cupboards. It's a practical space to get the washing done. So that's our house, and we think it's great, comfortable, healthy, easy to clean, not too big or small, and most importantly, doesn't cost the earth to run. So thanks for listening.
Peter Dixon, carrying up. And I just thought so I think that we'll work off this one. Do you want to work off this one?
Okay. Yeah.
I'll turn this camera slightly. So you can follow that because they're doing the picture quick. Okay. Go for it.
Our passive solar house was designed with solar dwellings. We have a light coloured roof, render and paving to reflect the heat. Our home is orientated north, while all living rooms are on the north, and the bedrooms are on the cooler south side. We also have a bathroom and laundry on the north side as well. Large expanses of northern glass let in the low-angled winter sun, and external shading keeps out the summer sun. Extra insulation in the ceiling and walls help to keep the house temperature in a comfortable range. On the Colorbond roof are solar panels, solar hot water, and a solar-powered automatic heat extraction vent. We've got another slide. Thank you. A deciduous fruiting grapevine shades the house in summer but allows the sun to penetrate the house in winter. This warms the dark floor tiles and concrete slab, which is our thermal mass, and acts as a heat bank. We required no artificial heating this winter. Which one's coming out? A 9,500 litre poly water tank is plumbed to the washing machine and toilets and is also used on the garden. A hot and cold outdoor shower is just outside the northern bathroom and laundry and has a lovely salvage rusty balustrade repurposed as a screen. The shower is very useful post a swim in the saltwater pool. Living areas benefit from the northern aspect and are light and bright during the daytime and enjoy a view to the garden. Ceiling fans are in all main rooms. Lights are mainly LED and CFL. Paint and finishes are eco-friendly where possible, and we have also incorporated universal access principles in our design. The house is long and thin and only 2 rooms wide with a central hallway, which is ideal for solar passive heating. Opposing windows provide cross ventilation throughout. Small kitchen windows on the south side open to ventilate air out of the large northern doors opposite. The kitchen garden includes ferns, gingers and other shade-loving plants. Main rooms all have built-in MDF pelmets and double-layer curtains to insulate the windows. Minor rooms have blinds. Curtains are closed during the day in summer to keep the house cool and windows opened at night. In winter, the curtains are opened in the day to warm the dark floor tiles. Multiple indoor plants help to filter the air. Vintage furniture and collectibles are a favourite for their sustainability credentials. Reduced packaging, saving things from landfill and giving already made items another life is good for the planet and good for your pocket. One person's trash can certainly be another person's treasure. This beautiful tree arbour is also affectionately called the meander off the veranda and leads the wanderer the long way to the pavilion through scented and tactile plants past the fire pit area. It reminds us to slow down and appreciate the things around us. This is also a memorial garden to remember those no longer with us. The fire pit is our old washing machine drum, which makes an excellent fire drum. Circled by salvage logs and log rounds, it is a cosy spot surrounded by garden to while away a winter evening. The stone circle is made from salvaged limestone. The path is railway sleepers and gravel and is bordered with herbs, bush food and a passion fruit vine. Log round steps continue the meander to the outdoor pavilion. A deciduous grapevine has been planted over the pavilion arbour to one day provide summer shade and autumn colour. Behind the pavilion is the saltwater swimming pool, which was renovated after building completion. A pool blanket is used in summer. Bordering the garden is an obstacle course and nature play area for the children. This is also an area which contains lots of bush food and native shrubs. The garden is mulched with free tree pruning mulch. There are many plants here planted for the birds, bees and native flowers for picking. We also have the odd bobtail come to visit. The pavilion is a separate undercover entertaining area designed away from the house so as not to block the northern light to the house. A barbecue area and pool bar are located there with serving area. Benches and bar and shelves were salvaged at demolition for reuse here. The dry creek bed continues the children's obstacle course. Limestone blocks discarded by a neighbour make a nice place to sit on and scramble over and continue the obstacle course to the cubby house and sandpit area. Also a nice place to sit and admire the vegetables in the adjacent vegetable garden. The rear of the pavilion doubles as a blackboard wall. A frog pond is situated within the pool enclosure. Pleasant evenings produce a plethora of froggy friends around the entire garden and makes an almost nightly frog hunt a fun activity for young and old. Frogs are also great for managing garden pests. A Gabion bench seat is made from the waste limestone rocks that were found on site. A beautiful weeping mulberry makes a fantastic natural cubby house once the leaves return, or a sunny spot to sit in winter. Vegetable garden beds are made with railway sleepers and fed with homemade compost. Rusty mattress springs adorn the wall behind and are periodically used for climbing plants. Seasonal vegetables and herbs are also planted in apple crate wicking beds and recycled pots and planters around the garden, including citrus, bush food, fruit trees, berries, herbs and vegetables and vines. There is currently over 100 varieties of edibles growing at the moment. We also like to practice permaculture principles. It is fantastic fun to get the kids involved in growing and harvesting their own food and seeing where food comes from. It often announces surprising results and hopefully instills a lifelong love of gardening. Having a garden full of edibles, fragrant plants and wildlife visitors helps foster appreciation for Mother Earth and its creatures. Chickens are located behind the shade of the vegetable patches and underneath the bananas. Their enclosure is made from salvaged materials. They eat ours and the neighbours' waste food scraps and also bugs and weeds. Fresh eggs are a welcome bonus. 2 compost bins and a worm farm are also nearby for other scraps and are also used by our neighbours. The front carport is a recent addition for more shade and is soon to be the location of our next project, turning the driveway into a community pop-up space with bench seating, servery area, fairy lights and raised garden beds down the side so that we can host more neighbour and street events. So watch this space. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we present Kim Wilkins from Wilkins House. So, could you please stand here?
You can watch this one. You watch this one.
You're good.
Okay, thank you very much. I guess my house is a practical example of just about everything that Griff has mentioned in the talk pre-lunch. This is a snapshot of the front, and you can notice the clear, the light coloured roof, which is a very common advantage in Perth, and also some trees. Oh, that's out of sequence. Anyway, okay. So the next slide goes back to a bigger picture, and that is that it shows an example of Australia and an overlay of Europe, and demonstrates the fact that this is a large country, and therefore what works in one part of the country is not necessarily going to work somewhere else. And so a design has to be specific to the location and take into account the climate to a very large extent. And so comments that are made about my house here probably wouldn't apply to somewhere in Melbourne or into Darwin. The house designed by Solar Dwellings, it got a 9.1 star rating, and just a quick summary in terms of the costs and the year of build to give people some sort of a ballpark feel. A lot of people in the eastern states don't believe that we can build houses that cheaply in Perth. We've had that one. Can you go to the next one, please? Okay, so in summer, there is a large couple of fruit trees at the front of the house which screen and protect the house from the morning sun. And you can also see there's an awning tucked in there which provides additional shelter to two small front windows on the study to provide extra shade. And that awning is taken up in winter. This is the plan of the house. A couple of interesting things. One is that all of the bedrooms are clustered together at the back of the house. Most of the other designs that you've seen will have quite some degree of separation. That was partly forced on the design because it's a fairly small block, 400 square metres. Other than that, it's a classic 2-room deep, except at the very back, where we had to fit in 3 rooms to get the bathroom in. In terms of room arrangement, it's a fairly classic design with 2 bedrooms, at least on the south side, all of the living space on the north, and utility rooms on either end to protect the east and the west side. You got that one? Okay. This is a shot of the north side of the house. I selected to have a shade sail up to protect the northern glazing in winter, and obviously now, sorry, in summer. Now it's down, and you can see we've got full-length windows, which let in a massive amount of heat and light for winter. I don't have to do any heating inside the house except in the bathroom. That bathroom at the back requires a bit of heating on cold winter mornings. The next shot shows, this is a contrast in terms of summer, a large shade sail over the whole area, going up for about 3.5 metres approximately, and even a vertical awning over the study because the shade sail isn't quite so deep at that point. There's an outdoor deck which helps to stop that reflective heat. In terms of the glazing, when I lived in a previous solar house, I found that the UV coming in through the northern glass destroyed a lot of the internal furnishings. So this time around, I was very keen to try and cut down on UV. And I did quite a bit of research with help from Ken Whibley, and chose a low E glass with a high solar heat gain, which is called Comfort Plus. And you can see on the previous slide the contrast between the one at the top in green in terms of the properties compared to right down the bottom, almost cut off, the standard float glass, which you'll get if you don't opt for something better. And I chose Comfort Plus because of the 3 different factors there. This is some details about the house. You can see there's very, very little glass facing east or west. In fact, west is just one very small window in the bathroom, and it's up very high, so it's extremely well protected. There's a lot of glass to the north and only moderate amounts to the west, so to the south, to let the breeze in. I just used standard aluminium frames, white of course, to at least reflect as much heat as possible, and the low E glass. I've got drapes, and you can see a close-up photograph of the inbuilt pelmet and double drapes, which a number of other people have mentioned. You can also see the impact in the morning where the drapes keep the cool air trapped close to the glass. I had made a couple of mistakes in the design, sorry. And so I found I didn't put a door onto the laundry, and so I finished up putting a curtain there, and I also finished up putting a similar type of curtain into the study, which I now can use as a temporary short-term bedroom. It also helps when I'm on the internet talking to people. I can pull it down and not disturb other people in the house. Right. So in terms of external protection of windows, there's another shot there on the right-hand side of the awnings, but on the left-hand side, you'll see some wooden shutters which I made up, which protect the southern windows. So I can close them up in summer, and it's another barrier for heat, or also overnight in winter. And that big shutter also helps to deflect the breeze, the sea breeze, into that particular bedroom. The walls have got air cell insulation, which is one of probably the most common ways of insulating cavity brick walls in Perth, and it improves the performance of the wall very significantly. I think Griff mentioned without it, it's around about 0.7, and with it, it's about 1.6. So I would definitely recommend that, or one other type of insulation in the cavity walls if you're going to cavity brickwork. Next one. I've got 2 levels of insulation underneath the roof. There's anti-con sitting directly underneath the tin, and you can see that in the left-hand slide, as well as R4 bats on the ceiling. And that combination, I find, is quite sufficient in terms of insulation. The temperature in the roof tends to be the same temperature as outside. Thanks. Like a lot of people, I found a problem with the garage, and so I've actually insulated the garage myself, and I've also put an extra layer of insulation between the garage and the common wall between it and the house to try and stop heat coming in from the garage. Airflow through the house. Griff was right in terms of mentioning that there was a bit of a challenge here, and you'll see that in the left-hand corner, the house has been set back a bit further from the fence to allow some breeze to get through, and there's a lot of different opportunity for breeze to get through the house and exit on the northern, on the eastern side. To assist with that, there is ventilation, ceiling fans in most of the rooms, and I've also put an exhaust fan, a solar powered exhaust fan, into the roof space, which helps keep the temperature in the roof down as much as possible. Next. In terms of thermal mass, I've got a couple of pictures here, and I've actually had an air blower test done, courtesy of the CSIRO a number of years ago. I got a sort of a little bit higher than average, about 32, and I've tried to cork up some of those obvious gaps, but because of the thermal mass, the house still performs extremely well in winter and in summer. And I don't use the air conditioner unless we have one of those heat waves, or in the bathroom in the mornings in winter.
Next.
Yeah. And so what would I change? Well, very, very little. Probably have less glass on the laundry door, which you can see there. Probably have doors to separate the laundry and the study. I'd probably choose to separate the toilet from the bathroom, but that's a cosmetic thing. And I'd certainly omit gas from the house. But other than that, I'm very happy with the house.
Cool. Thank you, Kim Wilkinson. Now, Peter from SDG House for People and Planet.
Okay. We moved into our block in Carlisle in 1996 after returning from 8 years working in Nicaragua and being inspired by Nicaraguans that we can all make a difference to fight injustice and find harmony between people and planet. Next. Over the years, I planted many native trees and plants in our backyard, quite transformed from what it was when we first arrived, as you can see. Although we kept the clothesline. Cut down a bit though. Over the years I planted, oh, I'm confused now. This is, yeah, our block where we built out the back with all the native trees out the back there that you can see. We built the house to try and reduce our global and local footprint and be more sustainable with energy, water, and...
Yeah, they're listening at the other end, but they're manipulating. We've got no control over it.
Right, okay.
Next slide.
No, so that's the one I was thinking, yep. And we wanted to be in harmony with not just our building, sustainable energy, water, but also our native habitat, including our 2 resident bobtail goannas that were in our house when we moved in. Next. We use only half the energy we generate from our solar panels, and that's energy we use both in our son and his friend in the front house, the old house, and our house at the back. So we're sort of happy that we use less than we generate from the 2 houses. We have a water tank that feeds our toilet, our cupboard laundry, and when it fills up, as it has recently with the rain we've had, it overflows, as you can see there to the left, into that little woodland, that all native plants. And I can look out from my study to see those plants and the little creek when the water overflows from the tank. We got away with 1 toilet in a house. Imagine surviving like that. Our Nicaraguans knew how to do it. We thought we'd give it a go. We do that partly with the assistance of a wash basin system that's also fed by the rainwater tank. And it's a great reminder with COVID to wash your hands, have the grandkids wash their hands, because it's just coming out there. Everyone's like, oh, can't I turn this off somehow? It's like, no, you don't usually see that, but you may as well wash your hands in it to make use of it, because usually we don't. We built the house, as I said earlier, around gum trees that we'd planted out the back when we first moved into the house in 1996. And I remember someone saying, oh, it's so important to plant trees that you never sit under the shade of. And I thought, why would you do that when you could plant trees and enjoy the shade of them? So plant them early in your life, then you can build your house around it, even though it's a bit of a hassle for the designer to have to fit in with, imagine, trees on your block already. A lot easier if you can just get rid of them, but imagine if you can maintain them. Our home has been built to passive solar design principles. You might have imagined that. Maximising north-facing windows for thermal mass, windows and doors positioned to promote cooling summer breezes that are helped along by some ceiling fans. The windows produce a lot of natural light and ventilation, making the home healthier to live in, but also help our well-being, connecting us not just in a building, but with our trees, our berry garden outside our bedroom window, and outdoors on both sides of the house. So we feel at one with nature around us. We have grapes on the north side that lose their leaves and let the winter sun in, but also help stop summer sun along with our shade sails. We're cultivating a tropical garden on the warm western corner, along with passion fruit, berries, bush tucker, and even pumpkins, as well as our banana tree. Designed for universal access, we've incorporated larger doorways and hallways, lever door handles, and a hobless shower and flush thresholds. We're grateful actually to our builder, George, for correcting an errant tiler who was determined to create a hob for us. We also have some leaf feature tiles in our bathroom and ceramic wood grain tiles to trap the winter heat on the floor. But trapping the heat on the tiles from the northern sun also requires care with furniture. This L-shaped IKEA lounge had to be reconfigured, well done Leigh, to allow more sun onto the tiles from the northern window. Next. In summer, our shade sails and our curtains and pelmets help stop heat entering the north-facing windows. We also have a cute little attic. Couldn't believe that Australians waste so much space in our attics, and it gives us extra storage space, but it also gives us a lovely draft from our opening Velux window that gives us a draft on hot summer nights. And the door between the attic and the roof space was carefully made by my brother as part of his carpentry apprenticeship 30 years before, stored up under my dad's house until he passed away. So really nice to be able to have some elements like that, an attic that we cherish for storage and for ventilation, but also a feature of something from our family in it. Together, these features have helped us contribute to the Universal Sustainable Development Goals that connect a sustainable city and communities with water, energy, gender, health, agriculture, and equality for both people and planet. We see those connections coming together in our house, and we love to be able to contribute to that and encourage others to do the same. We're sorry we can't do Sustainable House Day in person this year like we did last year. It was amazing seeing the solar dwellings buses rock up and the bees all flying all around the houses. It was full of questions, and a few people said our little house, it's only a bit over 100 square metres, was like a TARDIS with all the little elements, and we loved talking to people and hearing from others' experiences. We were glad to show our shift from this, our little old fibro house that was built after the war and cherished in our initial years with our children, and built by the lady we bought it off and her husband, Mrs. Berwick. And we're interested and glad to be able to use that as a transition to then move out the back. And our son's still there at the moment, but not for long. We're working on that. And Griff's helping us with that as well. And now we're in our own little SDG house for people and planet. Out the back, thinking about the front, but enjoying it very much. We felt like through building our own sustainable house, we were able to show each other and the government that actually we can make a difference for tackling climate change. We don't have to wait for others. We can take action ourselves, as well as encouraging others to go on that journey with us and encourage the government and others to take a stronger stand for sustainability and sustainable cities and communities. Thanks.
Thank you, Peter. I'd like to say thank you to all the speakers that came out today to present their sustainable homes, and thank you to all the viewers. Thank you.